Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? And today is the day we switch to the defensive side of the ball for our draft evaluations. So, we spent a lot of time on offense, most of it concentrated around the offensive line, but you got to pay attention to the defense as well. And you know that as long as Pete Carroll is running the show around here, which for the moment he is, we're going to place a high priority on defense. And I want to take a look at some of the positions of obvious need going into the upcoming draft. So we're going to start from the lines and move our way back. So we know that the Seahawks are switching to what they're currently calling a hybrid defense. So we're going to have some 3-4 concepts and some 4-3 concepts. Now, to me, when you are running a hybrid defense, you need 3-4 personnel. In generally speaking, I think it is easier to get 3-4 guys to do occasional 4-3 stuff than it is to get 4-3 guys to do occasional 3-4 stuff. Because if you're going to ask 4-3 defensive ends to be able to play in space, play in coverage, drop back all the time, usually doesn't go that well. We kind of learned that the hard way last year sometimes. And I think that you really need to make sure you have the right personnel if you want to run that hybrid. And if you take a look at the players that you're going to have in a 3-4 type defense, they typically transition to playing the occasional 4-3 role quite well. Your outside linebackers in a 3-4 can occasionally put their hand in the dirt and play as defensive ends in a 4-3. Your nose tackle can be a 1-tech. Your defensive ends can be like a 3-tech or a 5-tech. It works pretty well. So if you can handle the 3-4 part, you can probably get a good enough 4-3 unit going as well. So with that in mind, let's start at the very base of the defense with the nose tackle. So the nose tackle is sometimes referred to as a 0-tech in a 3-4 defense. So in the 4-3, you have the 1-tech and the 3-tech. Nose tackle is kind of your 0-tech. Pure run stuffer. Very rare you see a nose tackle be a prolific pass rusher. They're just there to take up space, eat up blockers, and let the linebackers behind them do work. Right now, the Seahawks have 2 guys on their roster who can play nose tackle. You've got Al Woods and Brian Monet. And Brian Monet could very obviously be shipped out of here tomorrow, and it wouldn't matter, right? He's a veteran minimum type player. I think he got tendered. I think there's no guaranteed money in that tender, so no commitment there. I don't think that Poona Ford is going to be able to do 0-tech stuff. He's too small. And certainly not Quentin Jefferson or Akeem. If you got Akeem Hicks, certainly not him. Certainly not Shelby Harris. That's just not their game. So let's play with the idea of using a day 1 or day 2 pick on a nose tackle. And there are really only 2 guys, so this is actually going to be kind of a short video. This first guy is the cream of the crop at the nose tackle spot, so much so that if you take a look at the big boards, he's a first-round prospect unanimously. Walter Football has him top 10. Now, I think that's a little bit of an aberration. I think the expected range for Jordan Davis to go will be somewhere between 15 and 20. Somewhere in that 15 to 20 range. So if the Seahawks want him, they probably should trade down with Philadelphia or something like that. So I'm not enthused about the idea of taking Jordan Davis at number 9. I'll say that right now. But if we traded down to, say, Philly's spot, that becomes much more interesting to me. So Jordan Davis, what can I say? The dude is a complete freak. He set the combine on fire for a reason. 6'6", 341 pounds, but he moves. 4.7840. That is unfair. And that indicates an ability to play beyond just the role of a typical run-stuffing nose tackle. That indicates some ability to penetrate into the backfield and actually make plays. Maybe even get some sort of bull rush going. If you take a look at his 4-year stats, the first 3 years were solid but relatively unspectacular. 20 to 25, 15 to 25 tackles a year. He would make the occasional sack. Couple plays in the backfield. 2021 was kind of a breakout year for him. He had 32 tackles, 5 for loss, 2 sacks, and a pass deflection. So his ascent up the boards was kind of powered by his combine performance, which is a red flag, but he's definitely a freak athlete. You don't see very many men this size who can move in this way. He's versatile. If you get Jordan Davis, you're getting a guy who could be a 1 tech, could be a 0 tech, and honestly, because he's such a good athlete, maybe could be an NFL 3 tech as well. He moves laterally very well. He does have a little bit of a bull rush. Like I said, he is able to contribute on passing down some with that bull rush. If he becomes the player that everyone expects him to become, he is an automatic double team on every snap, which is key for a nose tackle. He is dominant against the run, and he can make the occasional play. He is not just there to eat up blockers. The issues with Jordan Davis would be conditioning. How many snaps is he going to be able to play a game? He is still mostly a run defender, and I'm not 100% sure he's a great fit for a 3-4. If you put Jordan Davis in a 4-3 defense and have him play 3 tech and 1 tech, I know he's going to be able to find his home there. But as a 0 tech, I know he has the size and I know he has the skill set for it. I don't know if you're going to be getting everything out of him if you put him at nose. So that's what I can say about Jordan Davis. I would take him in the middle of the first, but I wouldn't take him top 10. That doesn't feel right to me. At the end of the day, unless you're a nose tackle that is guaranteed to give you, 6+ sacks a year on top of elite run defense, I just don't see how you're worth a top 10 pick. Okay, the second guy we're going to take a look at in this video is Travis Jones. And this is the guy who should really be the target for the Seahawks, I think. This is a guy you can get in the second round in all likelihood, and he doesn't have the upside of a Jordan Davis, but his upside is very impressive nonetheless. He played for the Yukon Huskies, 6'4", 325 pounds. I'd like my nose tackle to be a little bit heavier, but it's not by enough for me to really care. He's got enough size, and he plays bigger than he is, I think. Ran a sub 540, solid, 4.92. 3 cone, very nice, 7.33, so he's got some athleticism, 4.58 20-yard shuttle. He's had 3 pretty consistent years in college. He didn't play in 2020, but if you take a look at these 3 years, 40-plus tackles, made 5 to 7 tackles in the backfield, and as time went by, he became a little bit more of a threat as a pass rusher, and last year he had 4.5 sacks. So if you look at the big boards, they all have him in the second round, most of them early second, except for CBS. They have him in the third. But I think you're looking at a guy who is going to slot in at the second round, probably right around our second round picks, which are, I think, 40 and 41. So the pros of Travis Jones, the stuff to like about him, he can apply some quarterback pressure despite playing nose tackle. He played nose tackle at UConn. So the fact that he was able to get to the quarterback a little bit as a nose tackle is appealing. He eats up blocks. The way he plays is unselfish. The way he plays is definitely... It definitely indicates a deep understanding of the fact that his job is to eat up blockers so the linebackers are free to do what they need to do. And he does a phenomenal job of that. He dominates the line of scrimmage. He is somebody who definitely resets the line when he plays. He is a solid bull rusher as well. He can collapse the pocket with his bull rush. I think he'll be ready to play day 1 too. If you get Travis Jones, he could be a day 1 starter easily. The main issues with Travis Jones are he's not that quick off the snap, which takes away some of his ability to speed rush. But he's a nose tackle, so I can live with that. And there is some technique cleanup that he has to worry about. But I technically speaking, I think this guy's not bad at all at this point. All right, so that's really it for me. Those are the only 2 guys I would consider taking at nose tackle in the first 2 days of the draft. Jordan Davis, to me, is a pipe dream. I think he's going to go in the middle of the first, so unless we trade down, I don't see it. Travis Jones, to me, is the guy. He's one of the guys I would strongly consider targeting in round number 2. And I'll be back tomorrow with some sleepers at the nose tackle position, but those are my top 2. And don't be surprised if one of them is a Seahawk. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks.